Hi. Welcome. It's time for my report about two things. But this will be part one, I guess. So this is about me running for president and being somehow official in states and not official in other states. And a lot of it has to do with registering to vote. Another thing that they also want you to do is to have a vice president. Now, and then the third thing they want you to do is to have electors for voting in the Electoral College that are specifically for you. Now, it's my understanding that the states can run elections how they want, but my requirement for being president is I have to be over 35 or 35. I have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen, which I am, and I have to have lived 14 years in the United States, which I have. So I am eligible to be president. But then they added on these other things to make me official in their state. And if I don't follow their official rules, if people vote for me, whether they're U.S. citizens or illegal aliens voting illegally, whether they're registered or not, if anybody votes for me and I'm not somehow seen as official in that state, they don't count my vote. I find this really strange. They can make rules about political parties because political parties are actually corporations. They can tell corporations what to do from day to night, all the time. But as a U.S. citizen, we have the 14th Amendment, which clearly states that the states have no right to take away our liberties and to enforce laws that take away our liberties. And our liberty is to be a candidate for president. And our liberty is to have our votes counted. It's not to have an entity inside of a state decide whether they're going to count my vote or not, or whether I'm going to be counted as a presidential candidate or not. It's not up to a business or an entity that is not an official entity of the United States to decide these things for citizens. It's unconstitutional, it's against the law, and these people need to go to prison because they're traitors. So, all my votes need to be counted. And West Virginia, it's unacceptable that when I run for Congress, which is a federal office, you seem to be able to count my write-in votes and let me know how many people voted for me in each county in my section of West Virginia that I was going to be represented in 22. You had no problem tallying up those votes. But when it comes to presidential write-in candidates, you don't tell anybody who voted for who. You don't tally up the write-in votes for presidential elections. I don't understand that at all. That's just trickery. It's lies, it's cheating, it's manipulation. You are hiding things. You said this year that you had record turnout for votes, but you didn't say that you had record turnout for votes for Trump or for Harris. You just said record amount of people voted. But if you listen to my testimony about being a citizen, Susan, and how my citizen vote was not counted, how many other West Virginians' votes who are citizens were also not counted? We had record turnout, you said, but I didn't hear you say Trump had record votes. So who voted for who? I want transparency. I want to know. I think you're hiding things. I think you're manipulating the results, and you're just putting in people who you want to be in whatever position. And again, it comes down to U.S. citizens, the people who are supposed to be, that's what our country's made of, the people are not being heard. Our voices are not being heard. This is obscene. It's disgusting. It's unconstitutional. It's against the law, and you are traitors. And I know if it's happening in West Virginia, it's happening in many other states. We also heard in Texas, they had over 1 million fake names on the registering to vote list. 1 million illegal aliens were on that list. This is just unacceptable. Unacceptable. So, it's time. My lawsuit needs to come through. We need to stop this registering to vote list. We need to have transparent elections. And we need honest people in office. It's enough already. Enough. So, West Virginia is not the only state. I heard back from no state about whether I got votes. I did hear from one county in one state that said that there were a certain amount of write-in votes for president, but they didn't say how many I got, if I got any. And like I said, if they can separate that information for Congress, for seats in the House of Representatives or for seats in the Senate, they can do it for seats as president, and they can do it for a seat as vice president. And in fact, both vice president and presidential elections are separate. You don't need to have a vice president as a running mate. That's a thing that's needed if you're in a political party. Because of course you want the same political party. But as a write-in candidate, it is not a necessary thing. I am a presidential candidate. There are other people who are vice presidential candidates. We can be paired up together. They're two separate elections. They are not the same thing. I am not in a business. I am not in a party. So I am a write-in candidate running singularly. And my votes need to be counted for me. Period. It can be done. Anyone who says it cannot, any state who says it cannot, is hiding something. So transparency is what we need. This election, so far that I've seen, has been fraudulent. And yeah, this is supposed to be the leading country who inspires other countries. We even help people, other countries, learn how to vote, how to have elections. I mean, that's a joke in itself. So we're teaching others how to be fraudulent, how to manipulate, how to get the person in that you want to be in. It's not democracy. It's not even a republic. It's a dictatorship. We are being dictated by the Democrats and Republicans. They're working together, and it's unacceptable. They're traitors. They're in a political party, and that doesn't mean that they own the country. The preamble to the Constitution, which is our document of our government, it's what we live by, it starts with "we the people." It doesn't say "we the Democrats and the Republicans." It says "we the people." So, of the United States of America. So with that said, folks, we got lots of problems, and we've got lots of traitors in office. I am really saddened to hear this. It's unacceptable. This is not my USA. Thanks for stopping by. Until next video.